Hello, hello, hello. It is Moonshine Oracle with a masculine energy check-in on May 29th, 2025. Ugh. I am winded all of a sudden. So somebody's here is having a panic attack of sorts. And it's kind of annoying because if you don't want to be sensed or anything, then get the fuck out of tarot land. Plain and simple. Not hard. Disclaimers are in the description boxes of all the videos because I will not be dealing with anybody's triggered, unhealed fuck shit. Normally I say bullshit, but lately the men, certain ones, have just been on some bullshit. Because there is a lot of return to sender energy, and it's you know what, that ain't my problem. Because on somebody in the feminine collective that I was picking up on yesterday, they took witch classes and stuff like that. Men are into the craft as well, and instead of being taught how to do things in a positive manner, rules of engagement and shit like that, they were just taught to be the definition of parasitic, like a tick on a dog, life sucker of everybody around them, specifically people meant for abundance. But it's been since this started in 2020. It was an energetic wealth transfer of sorts. And it's just no, you gotta pay that shit back in spades, Bubba. Because what's funny is a video before someone showed me their true colors popped up on my feed on TikTok. Spiritual folks claim to be Israelites when they got nothing left, so to speak. And it's and one thing I've noticed just in general in the spiritual community, it's a sense of identity, a title of respect and stuff like that. But sometimes their attitudes towards certain folks say something else entirely. I don't claim to be one, but I do have Israelite blood in my veins. Big difference, right? And the flip side of that in the world of Christianity, it's predominantly men in ministry, but it's predominantly men who are just underperforming, underachieving, they're struggling academically, they're struggling with a career, and suddenly it's the last ditch attempt at cling to something that said, in hopes of not being labeled a failure, in a manner of speaking, a calling to follow God. I'm sorry, if you're a seer like me and stuff like that, you can tell a lot of these ministers, and I use that term very loosely, are full of shit. You can see it. And then there's my personal favorite, the warlock to minister pipeline. The warlock to minister pipeline. They failed at being a warlock. They couldn't get the one up on the true divine, the truly anointed, and so on down that line. And let's be for real, there's going to be that one you cross swords with that is going to whip your 6 o'clock. And by God, it is a beating you will never forget. And I will tell you this from personal experience. Winners don't demand rematches. Losers do. So we basically got a string of mofos right about now. In the warlock to minister pipeline, they suddenly found God after getting their ass beaten spirit again. For some, it damn near killed them. But the problem is they don't want to give up the fight. She's a witch! It's genuinely hilarious to me. Because what's funny is the person that's trying to do this to me right now, he did successfully kill me in a past life. He wanted to marry another woman that he felt was more attractive and stuff like that. So he made some lies. And before you know it, I was given a very, very unfair trial, put to the stake and burned alive. Let's just say the fire and I are old friends. I'm very comfortable working with that element, even though I am a predominantly water dominant chart. Fire will charge my ass up like nobody else's business. So the joke is on whoever at the end of the day. And what's funny is I can put my hand over a candle flame and not flinch. Like, I'm talking get real close. I do not feel that burn. I don't. And what's funny is I can't remember the exact number, but King James I of England, the 6th of Scotland, the man who commissioned the translation of the King James Version of the Bible, yeah, he's like somewhere between my 11th to 14th great uncle on my daddy's side of the family. Because there's 2 lines on my dad's side where we are descended from his 3 illegitimate brothers and sisters that survived to adulthood. Fun little fact. I can't recall if they were officially acknowledged or not, but they all, for the most part, married into noble households throughout Scotland. So yeah, it's been, I don't know, it's just one of the things I did during the pandemic after my paternal grandmother had passed away, because I was able to get names for her side and all that jazz. But yeah, it's been very, very interesting, so to speak. But yeah, the Warlock to Minister pipeline, yeah, they gonna try it. And what's funny is yesterday there was a video in my TikTok of a young man, very astute and asking some big questions. One of his videos was, how much longer is it going to be before they put the women who are unmarried and can read at the stake? It's like, you know what? That's fucking hilarious. Because if my hometown could have done that 5 years ago, they'd have done it. They would have done it. They'd have done it. Conservative folks don't like new things. I would know. I'm from a small town in Alabama. 205 area code. The west side of Jefferson County. And so on down that line. I can tell you all about that bullshit. But the funny thing is these ministers, if you will, they are part of what we like to call a fundamentalist. Take the fund out of that word and you get mentalist. And I put the definition of that on my community board yesterday. So basically, it's a magician of sorts. A warlock, if you will. And I find it really funny. Like, we all know what the word fund means. It means to put some money into something. 10 to 15 years ago, I was the target of a fundamentalist type sort of young man whose wife had just left him with his daughter and stuff like that. Because, like, women leave those men in droves. They abandon the kids and everything. Leave. 9 times out of 10, like, every once in a while, the mother really and truly is unfit. But 9 times out of 10, those men are the reason those women leave. Like, they don't want any connections to that man whatsoever. And if I remember correctly, he was part of the LDS community. He just gave like really stick in the mud Mormon vibes. Now, I'm not saying all Mormons are terrible, but it's just Mormons have a database of people in their community, their families, what they're worth financially and stuff like that. So if they have that type of information on within their own community, 9 times out of 10 that they can get it on somebody else too. Now, here comes the interesting part. It's really not a secret. The family that raised me, millionaires. Not a secret. And the funny thing is a lot of times men go into ministry of sorts thinking that this will give them status, this will elevate them, it will give them access to better quality women and so on down that line. And I'm sorry, but ministry is oftentimes associated with the term poverty. It is associated with the word poverty because there's a lot of hand to mouthing going on that end of things, and there's a lot of them who love to use their position to get freebies and discounts. I've seen it with my own eyeballs. They have had all the audacity to come to my person, especially because me being single with no kids, they expect me to be generous in the donations to the church. And believe me when I say y'all can kiss my ass and go all the way to hell. You fucking demons. Yeah. You want to know who's been persecuting me all these years because I just will not give them the time of day? Those fucking demons. See, the funny thing is the wealthy will give a donation or two here and there, but baby, they are not going to allow their daughters to marry you without an ironclad prenup. Because should that marriage fall to the wayside and to pieces, you ain't getting shit. A lot of times these men, under the assumption that this will elevate their status, no. Mark my words, a lot of politicians that are part of the fundamentalist community, if you will, the reason they have married outside of their race is because the women of their own race don't want anything to do with them. It's natural selection at play. And a lot of those marriages are lavender, but we ain't going to get into all that today. We ain't going to go there today. Yeah. See, the funny thing is you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. But just because I'm being nice to you does not mean I'm going to allow you to court me. And so on down that line. When I say, like, my thing is this. Why in the flying fuck would I submit to a man that can't even provide half a month's mortgage? Why would I submit to a man that cannot provide food for the table? I already have my own assets, property, and I can buy my own fucking groceries. Yeah. Why would I submit to a man that cannot provide 1/10 of the life in which I am accustomed to? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I mean, they want me, like, girls like me, to give them a shot in hopes of being part of the family inheritance, or what they believe to be part of the family inheritance. See, the thing is, we ain't dumb. We're not dumb. Because, see, the funny thing is, while these men are trying to find ways to humble you and break you down, we're gathering receipts to not only file a police report, But it's going to be restraining orders, cease and desist, lawsuits for slander and defamation of character, because by the time they're done with your dumbassery, you going to be filing for bankruptcy. Let's be fucking for real. See, the funny thing is, men at the class of which I'm accustomed to and higher don't pull this shit. It's men in poverty that pull this shit. It's men who are on the chopping block of natural selection that pull this shit. Because you get, every now and then, you'll get one who manages to make $1 million or $2 million, get into a political office and try to change the laws, thinking it will make women have sex with their person. Change the laws, force them to be pregnant, and their bloodline will carry on. No, bitch, we still don't like you. That's the fucking problem. You're assholes. You are underdeveloped, undereducated, underemployed, underaccomplished. You get left behind. That's the kicker. You get left behind. If you do not evolve, you cannot keep up, you get left behind. Sorry, not sorry. And if I remember correctly, No Child Left Behind was Bush's administration, if I remember correctly. I was in my teens in high school. I can't recall the exact year, but I remember all that being brought up and stuff like that. Teachers will get on this fucking internet and tell you that was one of the worst ideas ever. Because it's not fair to the students who are actually performing as they should. And yet, and it's funny this comes up because when No Child Left Behind was implemented, a lot of the age bracket that's complaining, women don't this, women don't that, they are the byproducts of No Child Left Behind. It is the slow dumbing down of the educational system in the United States to make us more subservient, if you will, to dead-end jobs for companies that won't even make it past generation number 2. Because what's at the helm now has potential, but it's these spoiled, entitled brats they made that just, my father will hear of this, but they have no business sense. They can throw their weight, their name, and their bank accounts around, but they have no business sense. They too are in the category, like the age bracket of the No Child Left Behind shit. Like, this is the aftermath. 15, 20 years down the line from when that, whatever it was first implemented. This is the aftermath. This is the consequences of actions and shit. It's basically people not qualified to be where they are, and they are pitching the biggest bitch fits. They are. They are. Now, to be fair, there's women in this group too. But the thing is, none of them are from wealthy households. I think the only exception here is Ballerina Farms. I mean, my understanding is her family did reasonably well. She just happened to marry a billionaire's son, and so on down that line. But even then, there's nothing interesting about him. Like the interviews I've seen that want to interview his wife, he takes over them all, and it's like, you dumb fuck. We are aware your name is on the deed, but you are not the face of Ballerina Farms. Nobody wants to talk to you. They want to talk to her because she is the interesting one. She's the interesting one. Let's be for real. A lot of men cannot stand being outshone by their female counterparts. Insert Charles and Princess Diana here. Charles was morbidly jealous of her. And you'd be amazed at the number of men who are so fucking jealous of women. It's not even close to funny. It is not even close to funny. Like my own so-called counterpart who fell from grace, he was jealous of me at the start. He's humbled himself a bit now. But it don't change what he assisted with, because instead of helping me, he helped my ops instead. So it's like, all right, fuck you too. And then there's the karmic, who is like, we have the same north and south node and stuff like that, but instead of developing himself and coming into his own, he tried to take from me. So it's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? When you know better, you do better, but there's nothing wrong with wanting good things for yourself, but a lot of times it helps understanding things. So, like the difference in social classes and stuff like that. I mean, it's just nobody gets their underwear in a fucking knot about this shit like a man who is not meant to be there. Women take the rap for the being materialistic, the gossipers, the gold miners and stuff like that. Oh, men are worse. Men are so much fucking worse, and I promise you, they never want to be. They're never accountable. Because not only do we have the aftermath of No Child Left where they should have been until they got the grades and all that jazz accordingly, we have this bullshit. So not only was the system at school a failure, the church failed them as well, because they taught them an outdated rhetoric. See, women evolved. Certain men failed to evolve. And on top of that, for a lot of them, life just has not bitten them in the ass enough. It hadn't. It just has not bitten them in the ass enough. Because I'm not really seeing a lot of this. Like, I see it occasionally in the millennial side of things, but like the 96, 97 crew and up is where I am predominantly seeing all this play out. So it's the group 10 years my junior and on that I'm seeing this in. I'm not really seeing this too much in like my own age group and stuff like that, unless they are of certain thought processes and so on down that line. Because nothing will lead a man more astray like a pastor who does not understand that they themselves are not a catch. They will then spread a rhetoric that they are a necessity and so on down that line. They are worthy, and it's just like, no, you will get your ass kicked to the curb. And the truth is, a lot of the men who think we're all the same, like we're all the same in God's eyes, but down here in the physical plane, there's a pecking order. And they're not as high as they think they are. So for those of you men that are healthy in the upright, you better be prepared to protect what is yours, because mark my words, these dumbasses are going to try to gun for it. And with that, everybody, have a good evening.